I never want to scuba dive, but I definitely want to jump into a Titan submersible. So thank you so much. This is awesome.
In the morning of June 18th, 2023, the Titan team consisting of 5 people entered the deep sea apparatus, and behind them, the hatches closed. The goal was to reach the mark at 3,750 meters, where the wreckage of the Titanic lied. The estimated time of immersion was about 2.5 hours. The management of the OceanGate company claimed that Titan's bathyscaphe was equipped with a real-time integrity analysis system. 5 people were waiting for the happy moment when finally, through the porthole, they would see the Titanic itself. The owner of the bathyscaphe, Rush, sincerely believed in the success of the expedition and its main creation. Around 7 o'clock in the morning on June 18th during the dive, the weather was good and the sun was peeking out. There was a slight swell on the sea. In the middle of the Atlantic Ocean on the deck of the ship Polar Prince, Shade's wife, Christina, stood and waited for her husband's return. At 8 a.m., people dressed in rescue suits started to climb into the Titan bathyscaphe, where the owner of the bathyscaphe, Stockton Rush, launched the apparatus software on 2 monitors. Titan could communicate in real time with its ship base, Polar Prince, through text messages exchanged via the acoustic USB ultra-short baseline system. Titan had to maintain communication with the base every 15 minutes or more often if necessary. The basic telemetry of the submarine, namely tracking its position, latitude, longitude, depth, and information about the state of the hull, was all done using the same system. The data on Titan's position was updated every few seconds. Now we'll see the second-by-second chronology of Titan's conversations with the base ship Polar Prince and the last minutes of the submarine's non-existence.
All set for the descent. Enjoy the ride.
We are descending. The launch sequence is complete. Ready?
All clear.
Continue.
Enjoy the descent, gentlemen.
After 15 minutes, according to internal instructions, Polar Prince requested the current position and condition of the submarine.
We're 15 minutes into the descent. What's the current depth? Please check all systems.
System check completed. All is well. All indicators are green. We're at a depth of 756 meters. Continuing.
Thank you. Keep going.
After 12 minutes, the ship Polar Prince requested.
It's been 30 minutes into the descent. Please update the data.
The entire system is functioning normally. We're in good shape, continuing our descent as planned.
Excellent. Keep going. Over 45 minutes. What's the current depth? Confirm status.
Depth is 1,934 meters. All systems stable. Descent continues as planned. The team is happy.
Great.
Roughly speaking, in just 50 minutes, Titan descended 2 kilometers, meaning it covered more than half of the journey, but more on that later.
You are at the 1 hour mark.
Everything is going smoothly here.
You've been descending for 75 minutes. What's the depth, status? You need to adjust the speed.
Under control. Depth is 2,960 meters. No adjustments needed. We're enjoying the ride.
Roger that.
After this phrase, 10 minutes later, Titan suddenly came back online.
We're detecting a signal from RTM.
The integrity system of Titan's hull showed a red warning indicator, signaling that the integrity of the submersible was compromised. Tensiometric and acoustic sensors alerted the team that a crack had appeared in the hull. The RTM system was designed to provide instant warnings, thanks to the timely planning of the engineers. After the alarm signal, there was enough time for someone to safely stop the descent and begin resurfacing.
Reducing descent speed, depth 3,433 meters.
At that moment, there was only 300 meters of depth left to the Titanic wreckage.
Understood. Do you need to ascend?
No changes with thrust. The descent speed is increasing. I'm going to dump ballast now. Standby mode.
Yes, copy. Dump the ballast.
No improvement. Getting ready to detach the frame.
Confirmed. Update the data when you can. What's the status of RTM?
The frame is removed. It took a few attempts, but we're starting the ascent right now.
Multiple attempts. What's your status? What are the RTM readings? Depth. Please update the data when possible.
Half a minute later, a cracking sound echoed through the Titan's hull.
Can you identify the source? Check the RTM indicators.
No.
RTM status.
Trying to run diagnostics now, ascending but very slowly. Sounds have subsided. Global RTM alert is active. All indicators are red.
Understood. Any error codes? Depth, ascent speed.
That indicated that the RTM system was warning about the imminent catastrophic consequences to the hull if the apparatus didn't resurface soon, until the moment when the hull would be subjected to significant water pressure. The RTM system was actively alerting about the impending destructive consequences.
Update when you can, please.
Slow ascent continues. Unclear why the thrust is so low. No indicator. 3,476 meters. Heading towards the surface.
We're discussing this with the engineer. Stand by. Please provide the depth and status. What's the power during ascent thrust?
Red indicator on power bus A. Switch to B. Depth is 3,457 meters. More sounds coming from the rear.
Understood. Continue the ascent. I'm currently discussing the power bus situation with Carlos. Stand by. We're initiating the recovery procedure. Carlos is requesting the output power from bus B. Please update the status. Ascent speed. We're not receiving you. Please update the data. Status report and depth update, please. We need you to respond with the status and depth. Carlos is requesting information on the engine power. We cannot read you. We're transitioning to recovery coordinates. Let us know if you read. Please respond if you can.
This was the last message from the Polar Prince ship. The transcript data shows that the Titan apparatus began the actual descent at 8:01. With the approval of the Polar Prince ship team, Titan reported being at a depth of 756 meters. According to its program and internal instructions, Titan was supposed to reach the Titanic wreckage in only 2.5 hours, considering a route depth of 3,800 meters and a time of 150 minutes. The standard descent speed of the apparatus should have been around 25 meters per minute. In other words, at 8:21, they should have reported a depth of 500 to 525 meters, not 756 meters. Their descent speed was about 50% higher. Titan was descending too quickly. At 8:51, Titan reported that it was at a depth of 1,934 meters. Using the same calculation, Titan's descent speed was maintained at about 37 meters per minute. At that moment, the submarine should have been at a depth of only 1,250 meters. The first alarm system on the submarine began to activate at 9:28, and the decryption stated,
We're detecting a signal from RTM.
At that moment, the bathyscaphe was 1,200 meters deeper than expected and arrived at the destination an hour earlier. The transcript then showed how Titan released the ballast to speed up the ascent. When the commander of the Titan realized it didn't help the ascent, they decided to detach the heavy frame. The Titan pilot didn't just say, "Now we're releasing the ballast." He specified which one and emphasized that the release wouldn't start with a custom-made expensive frame. The release would start with sandbags or an air chamber. Also, the Titan team reported a cracking sound at the status of the monitoring system.
Global RDM alert is active. All indicators are red.
When attempting to ascend from a depth of 3,476 meters, after 3 minutes they found themselves at a depth of only 3,457 meters, having risen only 19 meters. Vertical engine thrust was insufficient, and Titan at a depth of 3,457 meters switched power to the reserve battery. At that moment, noises, not just cracking, were heard in the apparatus hall. Just 105 minutes after the start of the deep-sea journey, the submarine lost communication with the Polar Prince base ship. It's currently assumed that Titan suffered an implosion due to several reasons: electrical supply failures leading to the failure of the vertical engine, failure of bolts securing the watertight hatch, and instability to the pressure on the hull, causing micro cracks. A mission is still investigating the incident, and a final assessment and conclusion will be provided later. Professor Ronald Wagner, an expert in the bending of thin-walled hull structures, used the program to explain how the submarine will function due to the collapse of the cylindrical hull. Using frame-by-frame clips, the program showed the destructive reality of what happened and how quickly it occurred. 0 milliseconds. Titan's carbon fiber hull begins to break for the first time. 282 milliseconds. Titan's hull compresses to half its diameter. 3,274 milliseconds. Anyone sitting in the center of Titan will be crushed. This view, modeled by Dr. Wagner, captures the moments from when Titan began to break until it turned into small debris. Describing the modeling results, Dr. Wagner said, "The steps are measured in milliseconds. It takes your brain 13 milliseconds to process information from your eye. But if you can see here, if we move forward by 30 milliseconds, they all died 10 milliseconds ago. It happened so fast. And to process pain formation takes 100 milliseconds. So in reality, they wouldn't feel or see anything coming." The US Coast Guard stated that medical professionals are conducting official DNA analysis of presumed remains, carefully extracted from the wreckage site after the doomed expedition. It was later revealed that the former CEO, Stockton Rush, apparently neglected safety when designing the submarine. According to Titan's plan, it was supposed to accommodate as many passengers as possible. Rush planned to place the most renowned and experienced Titanic researcher and 3 passengers inside Titan. However, Titan could accommodate such a number of passengers only if it had a cylindrical middle part. The checked for decades spherical shape wouldn't allow for that, but the desire to accommodate so many people in the apparatus dictated the choice of materials. The steel hull of the first deep-sea apparatus, Cyclops 1, which could descend to a depth of 500 meters, was too thin for the depth of Titanic. However, a thicker steel hull would add too much weight. In December 2016, OceanGate announced that they had started building Titan, and its cylindrical middle part will be made of carbon fiber. The idea was that carbon fiber was a strong material that was significantly lighter than traditional metals.
So to do this, we had to use a different material. Titanium is the common, there's some high-strength carbon steels that are used. I think the Russians use those. But titanium is, let's put it this way, carbon fiber is 3 times better on a strength to buoyancy basis than titanium. And underwater, that's what you care about. It's not strength to weight, it's strength to buoyancy. And yet no one had done that.
A month later, they were given a deadline of just 1.5 months to manufacture the carbon fiber hull composition for Titan's construction. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. We'd love to know what topic interests you next.